Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Kessler back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're going to be talking all about phase cancellation, phase correlation meters, and how to fix common problems. So this is going to be an information-packed tutorial. It is going to be kind of like a starting point on these topics. You can get much more in depth, but I'm going to show you at least how these things happen, talk about why they happen, talk about how to detect that they're happening using meters, and then show you a nice cool plugin that will make sure you can skirt around these problems if they happen in your mix. So essentially, when two things are out of phase, they can cancel each other out. And I've got an example here. So I've got operator on two channels, and they're playing together. They're in phase right now. And what that means is the waveform of this sound is going up and down exactly the same, or in most cases, relatively the same. But if you flip those, they become out of phase and actually cancel each other out. So I'm gonna actually demonstrate that for you right now. So as I said, it's operator on two channels, exact same thing. Everything is the same. And what I wanna do inside of Ableton Live is come into the utility control. Where is it? Josh, come on. All right, drop it on the channel here. And right here we have our phase buttons, and I'm gonna go ahead and click those. So it's gonna actually invert the phase of the left and the right channel. I don't really need to do that because it's mono right now, but whatever. Inverted phase, and watch what happens if I play the tracks now. Nothing is happening because they're exactly out of phase. And if I come in here and freeze both of these and flatten them and zoom in, you can actually see the waveforms here. And you look how this one's coming up, this one's going down. And when these two waveforms hit each other in the air, they cancel each other out. It's a really cool phenomenon, but that's what phase issues are when you're mixing. And the reason why this is important is because when these things happen inside of your mix, and you mix them down to mono, they can really cause issues. And that's a big problem because if you think about most cell phones only have one speaker, therefore they're mono. If you think about radio signals and people who still listen to radio, a lot of the broadcasts are mono. If you think about a club, right? If you go to not the best club, and actually most clubs are this way, there's just speakers kind of everywhere in the area. So it's very difficult in terms of left-right panning inside of most clubs. So you want to be careful of what you're doing with your left and your right in terms of when those audio signals might cancel each other out. And that's what phase issues are when you hear people talking about it. There's a way to detect if you have phase issues with the left and the right channel, and that's by using a phase correlation meter. And if you go to pluginboutique.com right now, we actually have a free one from iZotope. It's called the Stereo Imager. If I come into my plugins here, drop down to iZotope, I'm going to be using the imager right out of Ozone 8 because I happen to have the suite, but the imager actually comes alone as a free download, so you can go download it for free right now if you want. I'll leave a link in the video description. But if I drop this on my master channel, actually I already had one loaded up there. This is the phase correlation meter over here. You'll see that it's a +1 and a -1. And the idea here is you always want your audio to be above 0. So in the affirmative here, or in the positive values. Going below sometimes is okay, but if you're like really sticking close to 0 or below, you're gonna have issues when it comes to mono compatibility. That's what that's called. That means when you mix your stereo signals to mono, you're gonna have phase cancellation issues, which is gonna cause phasing, something that you might be aware of, or just straight out cancellation, and it's not gonna make your music sound good. And that's why you'll always hear people saying, when you mix, you always gotta be summing to mono, and that's why, most professional mixing and mastering plugins have a mono button, so you can just quickly see if there's any noticeable issues with your phasing. So the meter will help us though. And if I go ahead, I've just got kind of a real world example. This obviously isn't real world, but just because I have 4 channels of hi-hats here. So if I go ahead and play these hi-hats now, and let's check out our phase correlation meters and see where we are. And the reason why I've chosen 4 channels of hi-hats is because there's a lot of the same frequency content in there. They're stereo files, and there might be a little bit of phase correlation issues that we can detect in the meter. And that's just why I've chosen it, just for an example. So So you can see here, I'm constantly hitting around 0. And as I said before, up here at 1 is going to be a mono signal. So if I took everything and made it mono right now, this would just be stuck at 1. And that's your best case scenario for when you're going to be summing to mono inside of cell phones and radio and in other situations. So that's your best case scenario, but mono is not good. Stereo is very important. So what I want to do is show you how to use a plugin from Soundtoys to make sure or fix any issues that you have. So if I come in here and come into PhaseMistress, and I just drop this on one of these channels, okay? And what I want to do inside of it, now you can get some really cool modulation phasing effects. It's essentially like a phase effect, but I don't want to use any of this. I just want to use it for mixing purposes right now. So I'm going to turn the resonance down. I'm going to turn the modulation down. I don't have to worry about this anymore because I don't have any modulation here. And I want to turn my frequency way down just because I want it to move very, very slowly. And I just want to pull my mix back a little bit. So I got it on this channel, and this is bypassed. And this is with the PhaseMistress. So I have lost a little bit of attack there, and we can always bring that back with a transient shaper and things like that. But watch what happens to the phase correlation meter when I'm playing all of these hi-hats at the same time and turn on the PhaseMistress just on this one channel, never mind the other ones. So you see what's happened here? I'm actually getting higher up in the spectrum, which is a good thing. So using something like PhaseMistress by Soundtoys is going to give you the step up in mono compatibility that everybody needs. And in fact, if I come up here to our examples with these out of phase ones, remember if I play this signal right now, nothing is happening, but I take this PhaseMistress and drop it on this channel. Look at that. And now if I bypass, no, we don't even hear the sound. If I turn it back on, and what's really cool is it sounds normal. There's no fluctuation. There's no that phasing effect that you get on like a DJ mixer. None of that is happening. It's just allowing the phase to be a little bit manipulated so that you can hear it inside of a space. And that's what it's all about. So I just wanted to share this plugin with you because it's super powerful. I mean, you can get some really cool effects with it, but in terms of mixing and making sure your tracks are mono compatible, PhaseMistress is where it's at. So anyway, that's a quick intro to phasing, phase cancellation, mono compatibility, and so on and so forth, and a quick look at how to fix it using PhaseMistress. As I said before, this is an intro to the topic, but I hope you get a better understanding of it now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. You know the drill. I'm Joshua Casper here for Plugin Boutique. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.